Second time, take two. This is the first time we've ever had to restart a review, I think.
Yeah, it's something we should have done for Pet. Whoops.
Probably. Oh well. Sorry guys, it's a year late.
I feel like something bad is going to happen to me. It hasn't reached me yet, but it's on its way.
The normally tranquil setting of...
Let's talk about Docu-Horror. Docu-Horror is found footage, but better. It's basically the same idea as found footage, you know, watching somebody's recorded video on a film. But rather than just, hey, these people died, here's their somehow magically edited footage.
With soundtracks.
With soundtracks and nice sound design. And I hate that.
Google Glass that can fucking...
Let's not get into Jerusalem right now. But Docu-Horror frames it differently. It frames the story as a documentary, interviewing survivors, experts, people, and it adds a certain level of realism to the film that you don't get in any found footage films. Or many found footage films, rather.
If you've ever watched any of the ghost shit on, like, Travel Channel, like the My Haunted Encounter, not like Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures, like, but like the ones that are like survivors recounting their stories, it's like that. Think
that, but without the dramatic reenactments. Like Mungo is directed by Joel Anderson. It stars Talia Zucker, Martin Sharp, Rose Traynor, and some other people. And it tells the story of a family in Australia whose the daughter drowns, and over the next few months, their house starts feeling weird. The ghosts start showing up in pictures, and things are very eerie. I personally love this movie.
Yeah, it was okay.
I overhyped it for him a bit. I know I did, and yeah. I do think that this movie is something of a horror gem. I don't ever really shut the fuck up about it to people like him, which is why I did overhype it for him. But I do really think this movie is something special. There's not really anything quite like it out there.
Yeah, no, unique I think is probably the best word for this movie.
It is very unique.
I'm going to say both connotations of that word apply, though. I know you don't think there are any negatives.
No, but that's fair. Like I said, I don't personally find many negatives with this movie, if any. I can understand people who would have issues with it, though.
If this sounds like something that you are interested in watching, go watch it now, because this review is just going to be riddled with spoilers.
Although
the movie's like 10 years old.
It's difficult to spoil this movie just because of the fact that its framing style kind of makes it hard to spoil.
That's also
but also easy to spoil. Yeah, and it's very ambiguous, and there's not very many like giant crazy plot twists that we're gonna spoil because there's nothing like that in the movie. This movie feels very real. This movie feels very raw and natural, and there is just an overall eerie creepiness to this movie, and a lot of that is lent to just by, you know, family members recounting, hey, I walked into this room and all of a sudden I turned around and my daughter was sitting in the chair and she's been dead for however many months.
Yeah.
And to me, that's so much creepier when you just hear about it and it's placed over still footage of just this daughter's empty bedroom in the dark. That's creepy. That's really eerie, and I think that this movie does that really well. It makes this feel like a real, true story, and if I didn't know it wasn't real, I probably would think this is legit.
It does a very good job at tell, don't show, which for some reason works.
It works because it's a documentary.
Well, yeah,
and it's specifically with the subject matter.
Yes, I agree with you. And they show just enough.
They show just enough, because this is the kind of film where you have to constantly be looking in the background of all the shots and constantly be looking just at the minute details, because this film is the kind of thing where there will be security footage and then it'll pause and slowly zoom in on one small dimly lit corner of the room and you'll see the ghost of a girl standing there. And it's very eerie, and there's a lot of that in this movie. There's a lot of things that you don't see it at first, but once you do, you just get chills up your spine. It's the kind of film that you might not think affects you, but...
Yeah, no, I was telling Lee off camera and during our first take. I went for a smoke while Lee was setting up, and so I went to go toss the cigarette out into the snow, into the street. But while I was walking out to the street, I was just like, ooh, I feel like I should be looking over my shoulder. It's just like, well, while I didn't love this movie, it still did a very good job of unsettling me.
Unsettling's the best word for it, I would say. I want to specifically talk about one scene, one particular scene in this film, which, for me at least, is one of the most chilling moments in all of horror, in my opinion. And that is specifically, without getting into too much detail, Alice's cell phone video from Lake Mungo toward the climax of the film. This is one of those moments that I feel is iconic. It is one of those moments that is so unbelievably creepy, and not just in terms of the way it's shot and in terms of the building dread and everything about the way that they put that together with her narration over it from her psychic sessions and just the slow reveal of that figure coming out of the darkness. All of that is perfect, but the overall idea of that, the overall of seeing your dead self in front of you,
it was horrifying.
It's truly creepy. Like, it sends chills down your spine. It's so unnerving.
I know that phrase is used a lot, chills down your spine, but I literally did get, like, the hairs on my arms stood up. I shuddered. Like, it was intense. It was visceral. This
is one of those scenes this is one of those movies I've seen 3 times, and that scene never fails to give me goosebumps. It's so creepy, and it's brilliant. I think that scene is excellent.
It's so simple, though.
It's so weird, simple. But sometimes the simplest tricks are the best ones.
Yeah, no, it was... I got to give a lot of credit to that scene, because that definitely was one of the better horror scenes I've ever seen.
Yeah, I really like the overall synchronicity between the mother and daughter's visions in their psychic sessions, years apart or months apart or whatever. But I love the idea, and I don't know if you picked up on it, but the part when at the beginning the mother's like, I had these nightmares where she's coming to my room, she's dripping wet from the dam, and she's just staring at me. And then you hear in her sessions where she's like, I have these dreams that I'm standing over my mother and just like I'm being like I'm just drenched and I'm being weighed down by all this sadness and I want to call out to her but I can't.
Yeah.
That to me, that's just so creepy. You talk about it, I'm getting chills. It's like, it's so eerie, and this film has this overall sense of sadness that the reason we cut the fucking first take was because I was taking 10 minutes to think of this phrase, and then you helped me. This film has this pervading sense of just loss and depression and loneliness, and it kind of gives this idea that said loneliness and loss almost pervade, like, death itself.
I agree with you on every point in that, except that the whole movie had it.
Okay, that's fair.
I didn't get the sense of, like, the pervasive sense of loss, sadness, dread, dread I got, but loss or sadness or any of that.
Really?
Until the sex tape.
Okay.
At the sex tape, and then from the rest of the movie.
It's really interesting how many parallels there are between Alice Palmer and Laura Palmer from Twin Peaks. It's actually very, very... This movie absolutely has an homage to Twin Peaks.
Let's say, do you think the last name was intentionally?
Absolutely. Regardless, I've rambled enough about this. I want to hear what you didn't like about it, because I'm actually...
All right. Well, for one, I thought the first act was incredibly slow, and I know it's a slow burn.
Right.
But I didn't think we needed it, and I did check the DVD player. It was like 12 or 13 minutes, and they were still going on about, yeah, this girl disappeared. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, no, she disappeared. Oh, she disappeared, all right. Oh, okay. And then she drowned. We found out she died.
Right.
We did not need 13 minutes of that. That could have been condensed into 2, 3... Like, it started too slow because of it. Like, I felt bored.
Thanks.
I love slow burns,
I know you do, but like,
it
depends on the style, though. It depends. Like, something like The Witch is different than something like this.
Yeah, true, but I don't know. I guess docudrama, or docu-horror rather, just maybe isn't my style.
That's fair. I mean, also, docu-horror is a wide range, but this is definitely among the slower and more...
I've only seen a couple of them, to be honest.
I got some recommendations for you. So I have 2 questions for you. Do you think this would have worked better as a short film?
As an hour featurette, maybe.
Okay.
Not as a short film, necessarily.
If I hadn't overhyped this movie for you, do you think you would have liked it a little more?
I don't know if I would have liked it more. I would have liked it differently.
Okay.
I guess, like, you did definitely overhype this movie, because you never shut the hell up about this movie. But, I don't know, I think I would have come away feeling the same about it, but it would have been maybe for different reasons.
Okay. And that's totally fair.
Another thing that I really didn't like was the whole ending itself. Also, I felt like was slow and unnecessary. Like, it cut to like 3, 4 different scenes at the end, where it could have ended after each one.
Are you referring to the? I thought you were talking about the credits.
No. I'm referring to every scene after, like, the family's out of the bar or whatever.
Oh, okay.
I think almost every single scene after that either could have been moved to before that, like the last session, or could have been cut entirely and nothing would have been lost.
Okay.
And I also feel like the ending, it felt like it was leading up to something more, and then it just didn't.
What would you rate this film?
Yeah, I'd probably give it a solid.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, that's a pretty good score. I mean, I would probably say that it's a must-see. I think that more than anything, I definitely think it is slow enough that I can't say it's a genre masterpiece, but I think that it has this purveying sense of dread, and it's really eerie and really unsettling, and this is, I don't want to say it's a haunted house movie, because it's not, but it's a really creepy as fuck ghost story that you don't see a lot of at all. It's so unique that I think it's definitely worth a watch, and I'm going to say it's a must-see. But I can understand your gripes completely. And yeah, if you guys want to see it, I don't know if it's on Shudder anymore, but you can buy it on Amazon, like the DVD, for like $6. It's not very expensive. Yeah, check it out, guys. It's really cool. And yeah, Mike's here. We're gonna try and get him in a couple more reviews before the year's up. He's gonna do a top 5 list. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, Christmas.
Yay. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and tell them what they could do.
Unsubscribe. Forget this channel exists. It's just not worth your time. We're two idiots.
Dislike, don't comment, and unsubscribe.
And it's getting closer.